English hippies.
English hippies, yeah. My dad's still.
That's awesome.
We're rolling total, so
Awesome.
whenever, yeah.
Awesome, very cool. So, what's up, everybody? This is Andrew with Fact HVAC. We're doing our In Good Company program again. We're really excited to relaunch this and excited to have Lynden Brench with us to talk about who he is, what he's doing, some really cool things within the solar side of things. And so we're going to kind of get to know you, Lynden, a little bit.
Perfect.
So, awesome, man. Thanks for joining us, first off.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, big time.
So, obviously, the first thing everybody's going to notice, you got an accent.
Yep.
So, where are you from? Tell us a little bit of that story.
Yeah, so I'm from Manchester, England. Moved here, I think 11 years ago now. It was a late September, so perfect weather moving here. Didn't know about the summer when I moved here. But yeah, I moved here about 11 years ago to pursue sports and ended up meeting a chick and staying. Yeah, I was only supposed to be here about 90 days, about 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a return flight, I had a house in England, like a job, everything, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just ended up, following the dream, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what sport were you coming out here
Mixed
for?
martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah, so, some people call it cage fighting, but the UFC, that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, and I actually was in a nightclub in Manchester with some buddies, and I worked in marketing at the time. More like on-hold marketing, so when you call someone, you hear those ads.
Right.
And we sort of sold those and produced them and distributed those. And I was in a nightclub and I bumped into someone who was much bigger than me, and I turned around, hey man, sorry. And I noticed he was a UFC fighter, Ryan Bader, who lives in Gilbert, yeah. So I said, hey, you look like Ryan Bader, that's weird. He said, oh, I am. I was like, oh, that's odd. So, shook his hand, said, I'm a big fan, just watched you fight a couple of weeks ago. What are you in England for? He told me he was there for seminars, and then I said, have a great night, but left him alone for the night. And then he found me at the end, said, hey, do you know anywhere that's still open? Because the nightclub was closed and it was like 3 a.m. So we ended up hanging out, and I was like, I fight amateur and I'm training at the time, and I'd love to come train with you in America. And he said, come out and train with us. So I got on right there and then. I booked a flight, told my work, awesome. Hey, I need a little bit of time off. Yeah, and then he was like, everyone tells us they want to come out and train, but no one actually books the flight. So yeah, I booked a flight for a week originally, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for 3 months. Yeah, and then it ended up, staying with one of the other fighters from the gym, CB Dollaway, and he was there that night too. So yeah, and then I love it here, man. It's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't go back. I could not go back. Yeah.
So what is it that you just specifically the U.S. or Arizona?
A little bit. I love both, honestly. I love the U.S. Kind of attitude of just like hard work is rewarded. Get after it kind of attitude. In England, I love England. It's my home, and all a lot of my friends there, all my family's there. So it's hard for me to badmouth it, but man, it's dreary. It's real dull. It's wake up, do the same thing every single day, make someone else rich, and just go through the motions, and then at the end of it, you've got nothing really to show for it. It's a very system placed. You can't, if you step outside the system, no one wants you to do well, and America's very different like that. But yeah, I love AZ. The weather makes me feel like I'm on vacation every day. It's awesome.
This is the first time I've ever heard somebody say that about our summers.
I love the summers. I mean, they're rough sometimes, every now and again, but man, I got to remind myself of what it's like in England. So yeah, I love it here. Honestly, awesome. This is a dream. Yeah, nice. Literally. Sometimes I wake up and I'll sit on the patio, just drinking my morning water, or sitting with the dog, and I'm like, wow, this is cool.
That's awesome.
Tara comes out and like, what are you doing? I'm like, just taking it all in. I was sat in the garage in 120 degree heat, just taking it all in. So yeah, really thankful I'm here. That's for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how long were you kind of in mixed martial arts, like training? And
yeah, so I trained a little bit as a kid, and then I was training MMA specifically probably about a year and a half before I bumped into those guys. And then when I came over here, I really kicked it up a notch. So then I was training because I couldn't work, so all I could do was train. And luckily, I had a job prior that paid me a decent amount.
Right.
So I had some savings. My dad helped me out, and when I moved here, I could take 3 months off work, which was nice. So I was training 6-8 hours a day when I moved here, and then I took my first fight probably 4 weeks after being here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then I think I did 8 or 9 before I had an injury. I cracked my skull from here to here.
Wow.
Or someone else cracked my skull. Well, I fought in Vegas, and I went the whole distance, but yeah, I got hit pretty hard.
Wow.
by Montel Williams, the chat show host, his son.
Oh, I was like, Montel
no,
Williams assaulted you in the cage?
Yeah. No, his son was there. Yeah, I fought his son, and he put a little bit of a beat down on me.
Now, obviously, so doing that, mixed martial arts, a ton of training, dedication, discipline, and all that. How do you think that helped you kind of with the business side of things and kind of your entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah, so once you've been in a position where, and I was training with some of the best in the world, and I was nowhere near that level, so you kind of get used to a beat down every now and again, and then having to get back up. So when I get put in hard situations now, it's nothing. It doesn't faze me at all. Like, nothing really sets me back. A lot of people will let something small in their day put off their whole day. I'm just like, yeah, let's figure it out, and it helps. It's definitely helped my problem solving along the way. But yeah, once you've fought or been in some of those situations where there's someone who's 250 pounds on top of you holding you down while you're trying to get up, and they're hitting you in the head in a cage, it definitely toughens you up. And mental toughness, I don't think there's a sport like it, honestly, to build that. And it does produce a lot of great business owners too.
So you come over to the United States, you're training MMA, obviously 90 days, your plan, stay here longer. What was kind of your thought once you kind of hit here? Obviously you had a marketing background.
Yeah, so I actually ended up running the gym that they owned. So those guys, Ryan and CB, and a few other guys owned a gym in Gilbert, and it was the biggest MMA gym in North America. Pretty cool. It was down on Gilbert and Baseline, Power MMA. It was open for about 10 years. And it closed down. They moved it to like more of a private facility now, so it's still open but not to the public. It's totally moved location, just professional guys train there now. But I ended up as a Saturday guy, front desk. I said, just give me an opportunity. And then I talked the manager then into letting me into sales. And then it's funny, I actually found the booklet that I put the presentation of being head of sales like last week.
Oh, nice.
And I was reading through it. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I was really selling myself in this. But yeah, I talked him into sales, letting me just do sales on Saturday. And I ended up outselling the week guy, the guy who did sales Monday through Friday. And per hour, I outsold him like 8 to 1 per hour worked. And then he ended up leaving, and instead of them hiring a different sales guy, I was like, hey, I want the opportunity to go full time. Went full time for about 2 years there, just doing sales and building the gym and helping them market and online marketing, paper, media, filling their pro shop with all the shirts and the printed socks and the gear and deals with Adidas and getting all new gear and stuff. And then the manager left, and I ended up managing the gym for about 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I ended up leaving because I started a graphic design business, and that was the income for that slowly overtook the income for the gym. And I was like, this is my time. This is the right time to leave, when the income for 3 months in a row kind of balanced the gym.
Right.
And then they ended up moving it, like I say, closing the big location and then moving it to a smaller location.
Nice.
But yeah, it took me, I think, about 6 years to get from Saturday sales guy to running the gym, which was
awesome.
It was a fun time.
Right.
It was awesome. Yeah.
So graphic design, kind of walk me through that. What were you doing? What kind of work?
Yeah.
What inspires you? All that good stuff.
So I did graphics in college, didn't graduate. I was about 2 weeks away from graduating, and then it makes me sound so crazy, but about 2 or 3 weeks away from graduating, and I had all these projects due, and I was focusing on other stuff. We had a little print business, me and my buddies, and we were doing like nightclub promotions. So we'd go to a nightclub or a bar, and we'd say, hey, we've got nothing going on Monday. We want to almost rent your place for the Monday. We'll throw a big party, basically. We'll promote it, print the flyers, and we'll fill it, and you take a cut. They were all about it. We sold out the bars, and we sold out one in Leeds, a couple in Manchester, and it was really good. We were out, putting flyers under doors, and there was these big like student halls type thing. I think you have them like dorms. Yeah, and we snuck into them. We were flyering and stuff like that. So that was that kind of went hand in hand with what I was doing. But the graphic design, I didn't graduate because I spoke to my graphic design tutor and I said, hey, I've never looked into this. How much does a graphic designer earn? And they said, about 30 grand a year at the most in the UK. I was like, that makes no sense to me at all. Like, I'm definitely not going to do that for a job. Like, as much as I love it, I was doing the math, I'm like, I can't support anything that I want as a long-term goal on that. You could, if you own the business, it's very different, but in the UK, that's not a vision. Like, it's not a thing. When you tell someone you want to own a business in the UK, they almost laugh and they think, oh yeah, sure. You tell someone in America and they go, how can I help you?
Right.
Like, how can I help you get that? It's a very different mindset. So when I came over here, I was looking for something to do on the side. The gym was taking up a lot of my time. I wasn't really fighting anymore, and I wanted something to stimulate my brain. And I thought, I used to draw logos and all that stuff. I wonder if I can get back into it. And I didn't know the programs because it had been 8 years, so I didn't know the hard skills. I had the soft skills, so I had the creativity and the drawing and all that stuff, but the hard skills of getting on Illustrator and making them and putting them in files and all that stuff. But I knew how to market. So I threw out some Craigslist ads, threw out some ads on Facebook. I had 5 logo jobs within a week. So then I was like, well, I've got these jobs, I need to figure out my hard skills. So I sat there for about an hour a night for about 6 months learning Illustrator, bought the courses and that stuff. And then I realized, like, man, you can charge about $500 for a logo. And a good graphic designer only takes about an hour to nail it. And usually now, and I still do it on the side for friends, like very rare. Like if I'm feeling it, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do your logo, and I don't charge for it. But usually the first one I put out takes me 5 minutes, and that's the golden logo. And then they ask for 10 more or 5 more, and it takes me 6 hours, and they hate them all. So, but yeah, I got into that, did more Craigslist ads, got a bunch of referrals, and then if you go into pretty much any smoke shop now, any of the juice label ones, I designed about 70% of those at one point.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I was the vape guy. And I kind of transitioned my business from general logos and stuff like that to just working with the vape companies and making sure they were FDA, FDA compliant, because you have to have certain sizes on certain labels, and I had all the templates. But yeah, I went out to California and worked with those guys for like a week or two. But yeah, when I was running the graphic company, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things of just, again, finding a niche to get into and operate within that space.
Exactly. And I almost closed down all the other business but the vape stuff, because I want to be the guy.
Right.
I want to be the guy to go to. And people were calling me, hey, I got your referral from this guy and this guy and this guy. But yeah, that was my thing, was boxes and vape labels.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and I probably did 2,000 of them.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so obviously right now, complete solar cleaning is kind of is what you're doing now. That's your newest company. Kind of talk to me a little bit about that, because one of the things that intrigued me about that is, one, it sounds interesting, like, oh, just cleaning solar panels.
Yeah.
It seems like just routine maintenance. But actually, you showing me some hard numbers on what that maintenance actually does for customers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, how did you transition? Obviously, all these other things. Yeah. How did you transition into the solar side?
So I started with trash can. So after the design business, me and a buddy, my brother-in-law, my girlfriend's sister's ex-boyfriend, who they have kids together. I suppose brother-in-law. So we sat down and we were trying to figure out something to do, and he was working as a bartender, and then I was doing the design stuff. And I wasn't getting burnt out on it, but I was like, okay, if I want to get bigger, I've got to hire people, and designers charge $60-$70 an hour, which means we got to charge $150 an hour. And there's a lot of places like Fiverr and things like that where you can get logos for $5, and they're pretty decent. If you don't want to spend a bunch, and you just want a quick logo, pretty decent. So the clients we were in the vape space, but they were getting heavily regulated, so our work was diminishing there. Right. And like I said, I wasn't getting burnt out, but it takes your toll sitting in front of a computer for 10 hours a day just designing, and you're not getting out and being active. And being a fighter before, I was so used to moving my body and just moving around constantly and always solving problems within the gym and solving problems on the mat and with the business, with helping them run the gym. So I kind of wanted a little bit more. So we sat down and I don't remember how we came up with the idea for trash can cleaning. I think I saw a guy doing it on my street, but he was doing it with a hose. And I think, he was doing it with a hose, and I remember seeing it and being like, it's kind of a cool idea. I wonder if we could figure that out into a business. So we sat down and we did some research, and we actually spoke to a company in Canada, and they built us this machine that went on the back of a pickup truck, and it had a big lift on it, and it went on the back of just, like a 1500 pickup truck, and it had a lift on it, and it lifted the can up, and you hooked a pressure washer up with a 360 spinning nozzle, and it washed the inside of the can out. And we're like, oh, we've got a business. It's $40,000 to start it, and we had a really good investor who's helped start Complete Solar Cleaning, which was kind of nice. But yeah, so we started that, and that took off really fast. Within a year, I ended up buying the business partner out, and then I ended up going on my own with it. We had 2 trucks by the end of the year, but the second truck was almost the size of a garbage truck.
Oh, wow.
So it had 2 big grabbers on the back, a pressure washer 5 times bigger than the one we had. It was all automatic, so you push a button, it would pick the can up. You didn't really have to touch the cans anymore. And we got to about 2,000 recurring customers, 2,200, something like that in 2 years, which was great. And then one day I was cleaning the guy's can, and he said, "How much to clean my solar panels?" And I thought, I have no idea. I don't even know if I can do it. I have no idea. And I said, "How much would you pay?" And he's actually he was my first customer, and I do his free now because he is the reason why I started it. And he was like, "I'd probably pay about $10, $12 a panel," which is high. And now I'm in the business, I know that's a really high price. He was just shooting off the hip. And I'm like, well, I did some research, realized 6% of Phoenix residents have solar. So I'm like, that's millions of homes. So yeah, I kind of looked at that, was doing really well in trash can cleaning, and then COVID hit, so we lost almost all our commercial accounts. So we used to clean pressure washing too. So we used to pressure wash all the Popeyes.
Okay.
So we had about 32 locations. And then we used to clean about 15 Starbucks, and we had all these commercial accounts, and we were doing well. Our third year we did about 250K, which was fairly decent. But you're talking $5-6 grand a month in repairs on those trucks. They're pretty expensive, so it was adding up. And it's hard to find people to clean trash cans for under $25 an hour, which is hard to pay because it's not the hardest work. So you're looking to drive a truck and press a button, puts the can up. So we were coming across a lot of obstacles. Then I got the opportunity I sat down with one of the other guys in the industry, and we sat down for breakfast, and he was like, "Yeah, if you ever want to sell, let me know." And I was like, "I never even thought about it." And he said, "Yeah, I'll give you this." And he told me the offer. I went home and I was like, "That's a great deal. That's a great deal." He would take my customers. I would consult with him for 60 days, which is what we did. And then he bought it, and then after that, he ended up selling it about 2-3 days later to a new guy who was just starting. And then he took all the customers, closed those 2 businesses down, and kind of absorbed the company. And he grew through acquisition, which kind of makes sense, and he's still doing really well. He got the trucks and all that. And then I was kind of figuring out, what do I want to do next? I want to stay in the cleaning space. And then I remembered the guy who asked me to do solar panel cleaning. So I did some research, and I realized that there's no moving parts, so I don't have an engine. With those trash can cleaning trucks, you've got 2 engines in the back. You've got a big, NPR gas HD Isuzu truck, tires and all that stuff. Well, my equipment is an RODI system, so it's a portable water softener, effectively, with a little pump on it, and it pumps it through a water-fed pole. So, I did a bunch of research, and then I called that guy back and I said, "Hey, I'm ready to clean your panels." 2 years later, and he said, "Come by." Yeah, and he's in Goodyear, and he said, "Come by." So I ended up doing them, and then, he said, "I've got her across the street wants to do it straight afterwards." Perfect. Spoke to her. "Hey, do you know anyone wants to do it?" "Yeah, let me call my friend." Ended up doing about 5 or 6 that first day. I was like, okay, there's something here for sure. My equipment didn't cost me much. It was, I think I'm $1,500 into my first setup. Now the setup's totally different now. Month 9. But it's funny because my dad has influenced a lot of the business decisions I've made. So when I called him and said, "Hey, I'm going to clean solar panels," he said, "I told you about that about 10 years ago." I go, "No, you didn't." He said, "I did." I said, "It's about 10 years ago."
Somebody in Manchester that never sees the sun talked about solar
right?
panels.
And he swears that he's like, "I told you, you should get in solar panel cleaning, if not sales." And I'm like, "Sure you did," but I assume that he actually did. Yeah, he probably did. But yeah, and then now it's just, and I went door knocking to get my first 100 customers and all that. But now it's crazy, man. We've got, only month 9, but this month we'll do 50% more than last month. Last month was the first month of profit.
Nice.
And that's factoring in the truck purchases, the machine, everything that we purchased for it. Because I had to buy a brand new truck because I sold my other one with the business. I just had a car, so I couldn't do it in a car. So I got a new truck and all that stuff. And yeah, last month was the first month of profit. And month 9, I've had the first cycle of recleans. So we offer it every 6 and 12 months, and that's kind of industry standard. You've got a lot of people who live on the back of the desert, especially in Gold Canyon and Goodyear and Florence and stuff like that. So they're getting dust just blown on their panels constantly. And now we're booking 4 new jobs a day now.
So when it comes to solar panel cleaning, again, like I said, one of the things, obviously with Fact, our big thing has always been making sure that customers have enough information that allows them to make decisions that help them save money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the big things that with us when we created this company was Fact HVAC, was that people could buy new air conditioning units, which is the most important appliance in their home.
Yep.
And now with the rise of solar in a place that gets 358 days of
Isn't
sun,
it great?
right? These are things that people really depend on and all of that. And so what I liked about yours, because it's important to us, is how people choosing us helps them save money, and ultimately them using you guys over at Complete, how that actually correlates into an ROI, into a return on that investment. So what are you typically seeing for your customers once you clean their solar panels?
Yeah, so a lot of the time, especially in my first few months, I was door knocking. So knocking on doors, hey, how's it going? My name's Lynden. Just started this business in the area. A lot of the times they would say, why would I get them cleaned? And I would explain, you're going to see a 20 to 30% increase. My favorite thing to do is to walk the customer to a lot of solar systems have a monitor on the side of the house, so I can see, and I think you saw this on Facebook the other day. I walk the customer around and say, take note of that number. It's 2,800 watts right now. When I'm going to clean it, it's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour, and I can guarantee you'll get at least 10%. Well, then when I walk them back down, it's 3,500, and I've got them 30%. That's a big increase. And a lot of customers will be very wary, like, well, they're working fine. I'm sure they are, but they can work better. So yes, being able to actually show people and not just be like, hey, I think you're going to get an increase. Right. Being able to show them this is, and then they can look at their bill and actually work out how much money I'm saving them. So usually it not only pays for itself, they save money by having me out. Nice. And I think a big thing what went wrong in the trash can cleaning was this is 4 years ago, so I wasn't that much younger, but mentally I was a lot younger and a lot younger in business, and I focused on ROI, profit lines, money, income, sales, which is not the way to run a business. Like, I've learned that real fast. This one, I'm literally focusing on one thing, and it's customer service and customer satisfaction. That's it. And then with that, they're happy, they're saving money, and another thing is, a lot of people say, well, I don't think I'm going to save anything. Well, okay, how much was your solar system? 40 grand? Well, yeah, it was. Okay, well, your car's 20, your house is 400. That's the second most expensive thing you're going to buy in your entire life. Right. Why not keep it clean? And you'll save money. So, a lot of people will go down that route, but yeah, being able to show someone hard facts, if they've got the app too, where they can track the usage, and they say, hey, my usage yesterday was 5,000 watt, or my output this time yesterday was 5,000. You just got it 600-700. Perfect. Yeah, and showing them that saving makes me feel good, because I know I'm providing real value. Yeah. I'm not just trying to sell, sell. I'm actually providing value. They're helping me as much as I'm helping them. That's the big thing for us. And
that's one of the mission of Fact, HVAC. We teach our technicians and everybody here at Fact with our brand is really that core piece of education, right? Yeah. That educating consumers and that we're providing these solutions is the service, right? And so that's been one of the things that I really liked about your company is it's just not door knocking for the sake of selling a service, right? But you can actually take a customer so they can see in real time what's happening, and there is no ambiguity with it. There's no vague, did this work? Well, I don't know,
When I can show them, it worked, what's great about the apps that they have is they can put in a time and day and see what their output was yesterday at the same time. So they can say, well, yesterday I got this, and today I'm getting this. And what's cool is I'll schedule them for 6-12 months. But I say to them, track your app. If you notice it start going down, take a look at your panels. If they're dusty, work out if having me out, my price that I gave you, I'm going to come out in 12 months anyway. But if you want to have me out earlier, and if it makes sense for you, just give me a call. And most of the time they do, because they notice that, hey, my output's going down. Let me look outside. And they're grey instead of jet black. And a lot of things I'll do to show them too. I'll write the customer's name in dust on the panel and send them a picture while I'm on the roof, or I'll do a little on my social media. It's full of this one move, I call it the hand swipe, where I go up and just swipe my hand on the panel, and you can see like the dust moving around, and Yeah, I didn't know it was that dusty. So,
well,
it's pretty cool.
And what's cool about that is, again, it's engaging with the customers, getting them involved in the process. It's creating real value for them and a fact-based value, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not something that's deniable.
Right.
And I'm educating them at the same time.
That's awesome.
A lot of people, the problem with the solar industry, there are some great people in it, but there are also some sharks.
Right.
Like any business. I'm sure you guys have come across it, other companies where all they want to do is make money. I see some solar companies, I'll know if they're a good one because if they're advertising what they're doing for the customer as opposed to advertising how much they're paying their techs. There's a company out there right now in Phoenix who all their social media is how much they're paying their sales guys. They do a post about this is the commission we paid this month, this is the commission we paid this week. Why do I care how much you pay you guys?
Right.
As a customer, I want to know if your customer satisfaction, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So, but there is a lot of sharks and a lot of solar companies have gone out of business. Well, they'll tell customers you don't need them cleaned to close the deal. They sell it as maintenance free, where the companies I work with sell it as, yeah, you need it cleaned. Here's a company who's going to clean it for you in 6 to 12 months, and they'll refer me. Those are the good ones.
Nice.
But yeah, being able to show the customer, hey, this is what I'm saving you, and I can work it out too usually. And usually my cost is a lot lower than what they're going to save. So most people save like $50 to $100 on a cleaner, which is kind of cool.
Well, I mean, how much is NASA going to would have saved if they would have just cleaned solar panels?
About 600 million.
Yeah.
I think it was. I worked out.
All they had to do is make a mechanism to clean the panels
right,
on the
just
rover.
a little swipe. When I saw
just
that, I was like, I've got to repost that. I'm sure you saw me repost it a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah,
You'd
it's
think
crazy.
they'd have a little water tank or just like some sort of thing to squeegee the
windshield
solar.
wiper.
Yeah.
Just something.
6 years early, they're pulling that program because
Right.
of dust on the solar panels.
That's it.
People tell me it doesn't need cleaning.
Yeah. You just got to show them
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So, where can people find you? Like
Facebook, Instagram, Google. Google's a big one for us. That's been awesome for our advertising, and reviews too. And I tell people like, hey, if you can leave me a Google review, that'd be great. Not just for me, but for other people. You know, we're a new company. We're 9 months old. That's fairly new in the space. I want people to know they can trust us. So yeah, we have a bunch of Google reviews, all 5 stars. Facebook, I'm constantly posting content, before and after images, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Google, Facebook, Instagram are definitely our go-tos. Yeah.
now, obviously, with coming over from the UK to here, what's been some of the things inspiring you for business and for your entrepreneurship? Like books, podcasts. What is it that you're doing to help inspire that?
Within
yourself?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, probably about one a day. You gave me a great book, really great book. But yeah, I read.
I can't take credit for it. Dan, who's
there
behind
you
the
go.
camera, actually,
Yeah,
is the
there
one
you
who
go.
referenced that book.
Yeah,
so.
I'm about a quarter of the way through it, so yeah, it's pretty good. Profit First. Yeah, so I really like that book. And I've become more of a reader. I'm on a 75 Hard program right now, which is a mental toughness program. So I've become more of a reader with that. I listen to a lot of podcasts. There's a guy I listen to a lot, Andy Frisella. He owns First Form. It's a nutrition company, a supplement company in Missouri. So I listen to a lot of his stuff. He's built it from 20 years, from zero to nearly $1 billion in 20 years. So yeah, I listen to a lot of that, and a lot. Honestly, surrounding myself with right people. That's been huge for me recently. I have a lot of friends who I don't really have anything in common with anymore because I'm trying to move to that next level. And yeah, surrounding myself with the right people who can not only give me advice, but I can help them too, which is a good thing. They'll ask me, I ask them, and I have things that I have experiences that they haven't had, and they have experiences that I haven't had, so we're able to feed off each other. But I'm a stuff guy too. Like a lot of people say, like, oh, happiness isn't a stuff thing. I'm a stuff guy. Like I like stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm sure when I get that stuff, it won't be as cool. But keeping my eye on the stuff is a big push for me.
What's the top 3 stuff
that I want? I would love a Mercedes E63 AMG wagon. So it's like a station wagon with 600 horsepower. So that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I think I'm about 5 years away from buying it. But I want to buy it cash.
Right.
That's my thing. I don't want to go and finance it. I want to be able to go in and, you know, they're $140,000. So I think for me to spend that, I've got to have a few million, which is And I'll say I'm 5 years away, and in 5 years I might still be 5 years away. In 5 years I might still be 5 years away. But it's something to keep my eye on.
Right.
I want to build a home. I really want to build a home, and I want to build a team. So I want to build a home. That's second. This is my goals. But
Right.
like as a business goal, what comes before that is I want to build a team that can rely on me and my business. So nothing would be cooler for me to have, 10 trucks, and all of those guys and girls are in $500,000 homes where their mortgage payment is 5% of what they earn. I would love to have a team of guys who are all making six figures. That's my goal, and keeping customers happy along the way. So that's my goal. It really is. I want the stuff, but it would be cool to see other people get the stuff off my stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Hey, rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Exactly. I love that saying. But yeah, I am a stuff guy. I'm not afraid to admit it. Some people say it's greed and it's this and that, but like, I don't know, man. Like, being able to go out to a meal and not check the bill before paying it, that's kind of a cool goal too. Like,
I do that every time I go to McDonald's. I don't
Yeah, but it's that's kind of a cool goal. But I've definitely noticed in this business that putting the customers first and the money will just come. And it might take longer, but it will come, and it will be cleaner. It will be more consistent. And my customers almost do all the selling for me now.
Right.
They love me so much that they are referring me, requesting me to other people. Hey, I know this guy owns a solar company. He's going to call you tomorrow. I bigged you up. He's X, Y, and Z. But yeah, the owning a team or having a team of guys who are well paid more than me would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, my last guy in the trash can cleaning made about 3 times more than me, which I loved. I thought that was great.
That's awesome.
I had just enough to get by, and he was doing a lot better than me, which was great.
That's awesome.
Because he helped me get to that next level and open up a little more. But yeah, the Mercedes would be cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Lynden, awesome for coming down.
Yeah.
Learning more about really good people that are doing really good things in different spaces is kind of what this is all about, right?
Yeah. Thank
and
you for
people
having me too.
who value customer service, who value facts, that's the brand that we're building. And so, obviously, thank you for coming down today, taking time out of your busy schedule. I would be remiss to say how I met you.
We've got to go through that.
Riding dirt bikes together is a lot of fun.
I'm an adrenaline junkie, big time. And owning a business is the biggest adrenaline rush in the world.
Right.
Yeah, it's like this, constantly like this.
No one. That's why you ride the trails that you ride.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You can do all that stuff, and obviously meeting through the Ghost Riders and all that stuff was really cool to get to know you, and I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing. In the near future and coming soon. So thank you again for stopping by, man. It's been awesome to chat. So
thank you.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Sweet.
That was great, guys.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really,
thank
really
you. That's
good.
cool.